Hello, everyone. Welcome to Star School. My name is Paul Croto. I'm a five-star here at Youngevity. Was named Trainer of the Year. And we have been doing this leadership development class here for everyone here at Youngevity. And we feel that it's so important. You know, we asked ourselves, what's the most important thing that we can focus on here at Youngevity? And in our opinion, it's being focused on building more leaders and taking everybody to the next level of leadership. So we put together this entire course here that we're teaching every Thursday at 2 p.m. We're recording this so you can share it with your teams, and we're really encouraging you to get your team on these calls so that not only you can grow into a better leader, but your team can grow into better leaders as well. So without further ado, I have the unique privilege of introducing the top leader here at Youngevity. Her name is Cheryl Morley. She's absolutely unbelievable. She's the best woman I've ever met in my life. She's a ball of I call her an explosion of nuclear energy. I mean, she just radiates energy. Everyone loves her. She's just a really genuinely great person. And I couldn't think of anybody better to do this call with, these leadership calls, than Cheryl. She's been with Youngevity now from day one. She was the very first person to be in Youngevity with Dr. Wallach. And she's been through so much, and she's learned so much throughout her life about leadership, really because she's spent her whole life traveling with Dr. Wallach, who's the best leader of all time. So she's learned a lot from him and learned a lot from her own life experience, and is now here to share all those experiences with us so we can grow from her and learn how to become a leader like she is. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this call over to our top master distributor, Cheryl Morley. Cheryl, over to you.
Thank you so much, Paul, and good afternoon, everybody. It's so exciting for me to be with you here today and really talk about this. So let's get this going. So let me ask you a question. What is the definition of leadership? And I bet you that every single one of you would have a different answer for what the definition is, right? So we could ask 100 people, and 100 people will have 100 different answers. So leadership is simply influence. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to say that again. Leadership is influence. If you don't have influence, you will never be able to lead others. So a widespread misunderstanding is that leading and managing are one and the same. The main difference between the two. So the main difference between leading and managing is that leadership is about influencing people to follow, while management focuses on maintaining systems and processes. So what we're actually saying is follow me, do what I'm doing. So I'm taking the 90 for life, so you take the 90 for life. I'm taking all of the add-on products, and I feel absolutely fantastic. So follow me by taking the 90 for life and by adding those extra products on. Okay, I'm doing the 10 daily habits, and I've become extremely successful. Follow me, do what I'm doing. Okay, but let's talk about this for a second. So I'm doing these things. I'm taking the 90 for life. I'm doing the 10 daily habits, and I'm going to do them with or without you. I want you to do them with me because I found that my life has changed by doing them. Okay, so true leadership cannot be awarded, appointed, or assigned. It only comes from influence, and that cannot be mandated. It must be earned. Okay, so Paul, can you talk to us about how we can earn this leadership?
Absolutely, Cheryl. And it's you that I've learned this from. I mean, yes, you know, you came into Youngevity as got that top position, but that's really only step one, you know, and then John Maxwell talks about these 5 levels of leadership. And I'm actually going to post a video. I was actually at this conference live with John probably 7-8 years ago. But it's one of the best speeches I ever heard in my life about these 5 levels of leadership. So we all come into Youngevity at level 1, which is position. People follow you because they have to. You know, you're the enroller. You're the person that signed them up. So they have no choice but to follow you. You know, they're underneath you. They're in your downline. Okay. So yes, Cheryl came into Youngevity and she's got the top spot. And, you know, are we all supposed to, you know, bow to her and be like, oh, you're the greatest in the world just because she has a spot or just because you have a spot in Youngevity? No, that's not how your team is going to look at you. You got to go to level 2, which is called the permission level. And at the permission level, we really talk about this being the level of relationships, okay, where people follow you because they want to, okay? So there's a big difference between level 1 and level 2. Level 1, you're their enroller, so they almost have to follow you. But level 2 is a place you get to where people want to follow you. They're like, oh my gosh, Paul, you're such a good leader. I want to follow you. You know, it's not, yeah, I would follow you whether you're my upline or not. You know, that's the kind of place you want to get to. So we'll talk about how to get to that second level of leadership, which is the permission level. Now, the third level of leadership is the production level. Okay, so now this is a level above that, where the way to describe this level is by saying you're producing results. Okay, and people follow you because of what you've done for the organization, because their business is exploded because of you. You know, so if you get this brand new person, they don't know anything about Youngevity, you bring them in and you're like, okay, you know, this is the most powerful thing you can say to someone is, I will help you build your business. Okay, so it's their business. You want to make sure that they understand that it's your business. I will help you build your business. Okay, so it's very important that you when you get a brand new member to come in, that's what you're saying. So they understand it is their business, but you're here to help them. That's really important. And then you do help them. You know, they're building, they're doing their thing, but you're there to hold their hand. You're there to help them every step of the way. And then they get to 1 star and they're just so excited. And they're like, I made it. I never thought in a million years that I could get to 5,400 volume, but I got there. And Paul, I really want to thank you because I would have never got here if it wasn't for you helping me every step of the way. I'm like, well, that's absolutely fantastic. You know, let's keep going though. Let's get to 2 star. Let's get to 3 star. So you're working with them and their business has exploded and they're making thousands of dollars a month now. And then they turn to you and they're just like, you know, I owe you everything. I owe you my life for helping me. You know, I was in a very bad position. My job was horrible. I wasn't making the kind of money I wanted to. And I met you and you got me to watch this video called The Plan. You opened my eyes to a whole new world. You got me enrolled. And then you helped me every step of the way to where I am now. And you literally changed my whole life. You changed my family's life. You changed my future. You know, that's where you want to get to. That's where the level where you produced results in their lives. And then the 4th level is the people development level. And that's really where Cheryl and I are right now. We want to help develop you, okay? We want reproduction and duplication. That's really what, you know, network marketing is all about. It doesn't matter what works. All that matters is what duplicates. And at this level, what you see is massive loyalty. You know, people become loyal to you because of what you've done for them. You know, you really build a great business one life at a time. So it's going out there and again, taking a person, and that's what we're doing right now with all of you. Maybe you're at you know, last week on the call, you were rating yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 where your leadership lit is, and maybe you're only at a 2 or a 3. You know, so what Cheryl and I hope happens during this course is that, you know, obviously you're going up to a 4 or 5, a 6, a 7, and 8, and that you have such a life-changing experience because of this leadership development course that you're like, oh my gosh, I would follow Cheryl and Paul to the moon because of what they've done for me and what they've done for my team. So, but we don't want them to look just as us like that. We want to look at you, that you help them. We're helping you, but you help them get to that level. And they're just super loyal to you now because of what you did for them and how much you helped them grow, not only their business, but them personally, how much you helped them grow. So that's a great level to get to. And last but not least, level 5 is this personhood level, where the only way to describe this level is respect. They respect you tremendously for all that you've done. You've done it all for so long. And that's really where Cheryl is at in my book. I mean, she went through, just the worst situations possible with Dr. Wallach, staying in these crazy hotels. What did you have, Cheryl? You had like explosions going on, and you were that meth lab was going on that one night. And just the story she tells me and tells all of us in her speeches that are just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're still alive after all of this stuff you've been through. And Dr. Wallach's been in car accidents and fights and this and that, and just like a war he's gone through to get to where he is now. He's done this for so long, and he's helped so many. He's at that level 5 leadership. Cheryl is at that level 5 leadership, and that's where I want to strive. And we should all be striving to get to that level of where that's at, and just have people, they want to respect you, and they do respect you because of you've just done it all and done it for so long. So that's the 5 levels. And again, I'm doing a horrible job at explaining this compared to what John Maxwell can. So I encourage you, I'll post that video for you so you can watch it and have John explain these 5 levels to you. And so you can really understand these 5 levels and say, where am I at? And actually, I'm going to jump into the 4 questions you should be asking yourself right now. So number 1, what is my level of influence with the leaders, the business builders on my team? So on a scale from 1 to 10, just write this down. What is the level of influence that I have with the leaders, the business builders on my team? How much do they respect me on a level from 1 to 10? What's my level of influence with the followers, the product users? Maybe you got a lot of product users on your team and they really look up to you, like you're their leader in health. And that's great. You're going to, a lot of people in Longevity will actually have a score higher for question number 2 than question number 1 because of what a product-orientated company this is. But understand, you want to score high in question number 1, 2, where you're influencing leaders. Number 3, the third question you want to ask yourself is, who are the top 12 influencers on my team? Now, we talk about creating this inner circle and having 12 people in your inner circle. Now, they may not be frontline to you. You may not have actually enrolled all 12 of these people. You may have enrolled someone like Bob, who enrolled Amy, who enrolled Steve, and Steve is the real influencer and the real leader, and that's who you're moving in with. Maybe the first 2 people, the person you enrolled, Amy, and then Bob, maybe they're just product users, and they somehow introduce you to Steve, and then you move in with Steve. So you got to really go through your whole organization and identify who are the top 12 people on your whole team. Doesn't matter what level they're on. Move in with those 12. And the most important question to ask yourself is, do I influence the influencers? Okay, and really, how much do I influence the influencers? This is really important. If you're taking notes, which you should be, write this down. Your ability to influence the influencers will determine your ability to grow the organization. I'll say that again. Your ability to influence the influencers will determine your ability to grow the organization. So it's not just influencing the product users to order more product or to keep taking the product. That's all great, and that's you got to be good at that. But what's really going to determine your growth and how big your paycheck is your ability to influence the influencers, the people who are the business builders on your team. So Cheryl, I'm going to turn the call back over to you to talk to us about this, continue to talk about this topic of influence and how we can influence people and what influence is.
I love this, Paul. And I loved what you were saying. And as you were going through the 5 levels of leadership, it just really hit me that as we become better influencers, really what all of us want to do is make a difference, I think. I really want to make a difference. I want to help people. I want to be there. And far and above anything else, for me, it's the most fulfilling when I've helped somebody and when they come back and say thank you. So I love that when you talked about that, because that's so, so, so important. So you guys, what we are trying to do here at Longevity is to influence other people to participate in what we are doing. So what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we trying to influence other people to do? So here's the 3 things that I want to talk about. This is what we're doing. This is our big, this is what we're trying to influence people to do. You guys, the first one is dream bigger. How many of you have had a hard time dreaming? It was one of the hardest things that I've ever done, right? Is to learn how to dream again. You know, at 24 at Taco Bell, I didn't have that many big dreams. I really didn't, right? But as I started to, your vision board is one of the most important things you can do. And I put on Facebook just a couple of days ago that I came home from a business trip, and my little girl Angelica had made a vision board. Are you kidding me? That was like the crowning moment of my entire month, because she understands the importance of it, and she's 10. So, oh my gosh, so my heart was just so warmed by that. But you know, it all started for me with my kitchen, and I had this dream, and I put it on my vision board. And let me tell you, we had a really bad kitchen. Like when I was pregnant, I had gained so much weight that I would try to lift myself up when I was down on one of the, like I would pull the door open on the counter, and I would use it to get up, and pretty soon it just like completely broke off. So that was one thing. And then we always had this piece of the counter that would fall off and like hit my foot. And so I would wait, and it was like the craziest thing to me. And I'm like, that's it. I've got to have a better kitchen. So what is the most craziest, best, most outrageous kitchen that I could ever have? And I came up with that. And then when the architect came in, I would say, well, give me some ideas of what you think is crazy. And he was like, well, I would pull this thing out and make it your spice rack. So you pull out half the cabinet and out comes your spice rack. I never thought of that, but it's just like opening up my mind to these other things and getting people to like put their input in, and what do you think's cool, and what do you think's neat? And that's the way we did it. And I have the most amazing kitchen, and I promise you, I could have never had that if I would not have first put that on the dream board. And so that's what we did. When Paul and I were in Colorado, we went to see Tom and Denise Chenault's house, and I thought they have a fantastic house, and it's right on the lake. And they're like, oh, this isn't the house. We bought this for the property, and now here's the house. And they showed us these plans from the architect, and oh my gosh, it was so unbelievable. I mean, Paul and I were just sitting there like, oh my gosh, you know. And then Scott Bardulis is another one who can dream like nobody's business. I mean, he had this whole dream like 3 years ago, and it's all been set into motion this whole time with everything that he's done. And it's incredible to see that starting to come to fruition now, all because of the dream. So dream, 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 super, super important. Number 2 is to become and create stars, right? So first we have to become a 1-star, and then we have to create stars. That's important. That's what we're doing, and we're doing it, and we are influencing other people to come along with us. So number 3, the third thing is to do the 10 daily habits. How important are the 10 daily habits to you? If they're not important to you, then you're never going to be able to influence someone else to do that. There's just no way. Because this is about having people follow us and influencing them to follow us instead of us just saying, well, you do this or you do that. So how do we influence people to do those 3 things? We have to do them ourselves. That's what I'm talking about. We have to do them ourselves. And then we teach them through our experiences or through our stories of how we're doing that. You know, and somebody, I promise you, this happened to me years ago, had no idea how to answer the question, but if somebody will ask you or tell you, I don't know how to find people, or I don't know how to promote to an event. You have to know how to tell them. You have to know how to tell them through your experiences, how you're doing it. It's not go out and do this. Whatever we're teaching you and helping you and training you to do, we are doing it. And as soon as that 10 daily habits becomes most important for you, then you are really going to start building your business. Your business is just going to take off like wildfire. And you guys, don't be scared just because it's 10 things. You're probably already doing more than half of them. Okay? So in ending this call, I've got to read this. This is absolutely fantastic. It says, okay, so it's a leadership proverb, and this is what it says. So he who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. Okay, so if you can't influence people, then they will not follow you. And if people won't follow you, you are not a leader. That's the law of influence. No matter what anybody else may tell you, Remember, you guys, every single one of you, please remember this. Leadership is influence. Nothing more and nothing less. Paul, I'm going to turn the time back over to you to tell us about our homework for this next week.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic, Cheryl. And I think I'm going to get that tattooed on me. Leadership is influence. That's so important to remember. And I love what you were talking about there about because I don't think a lot of people are clear about, first of all, what influence is. And second of all, what the heck are we trying to influence people to do? So I love the three things you came up with about dreaming bigger. I mean, that's really job number one here. And I just want to thank you for helping me dream bigger, for me to experience your kitchen and how amazing it is. And now I know you're building that amazing pool that I get to see it grow. I've seen the blueprints of that pool. And now I'm seeing, the trucks come in and deliver the dirt and pull dirt out and build things. So it's just, and it's so great being around you and you helping me dream bigger. So I really appreciate that. And now I see that because of what you're doing and you're leading by example, that I want to do that. And then I want to do that for other people too and help other people dream bigger. So that really is our number one job here at Longevity. I know a lot of people think, well, we got to get people healthier. Well, we got to do this. No, really what you got to do is job number one is help people dream bigger and give people hope. That's, I ask people, what do we sell here at Longevity? And they say, oh, we sell BTT. No, we don't. We sell hope. There's a hope for the first time that you can actually make these dreams become reality. And it's through this entire vehicle called Longevity that makes everything happen. I am truly living the health and wealth lifestyle because of Longevity. And they both go hand in hand. I mean, if you got health and you got no wealth, it's great. At least you feel good and you're healthy, but you're still not living a really great life. Now, if you got wealth but no health, that's not good either, because you got all this money, but you're dying. You don't feel well. So you got to have both. And that's what Cheryl has taught me. And I'm just living the dream life now because of Cheryl's leadership. So Cheryl, I thank you so much for that and what we're trying to influence people with. And I do want to leave people with a homework assignment today. There's really 3 books that have, so when I understood that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, I said, well, geez, I need to merely master this thing called influence. So I read a book. It's, I say this a lot, that it's one of the best books I've ever read in my life, but this truly is. I mean, How to Win Friends and Influence People has created so many millionaires. I mean, along with the book Think and Grow Rich, which we're going to go over after we go through these 21 laws of leadership. It's one of the top 2 books ever written as far as how much money it's made people in general around the world. How to Win Friends and Influence People is got to be a cornerstone book in your library, something you refer to daily. It's that important of a book. John Maxwell, one of his best books he's ever written in his life, is Becoming a Person of Influence. You got to read that book because you got to really dive in to this topic of influence and how can I become a person of more influence. And John, there's no better person in the world to teach you that than John Maxwell. And last but not least, a book I love, love, love. It's called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. So we're persuading people to go in a certain direction. So right now people are living life and they're going down this road that we talk about, the road of life during the plan. Well, the road that most people are going down is like, I always like the analogy of the 2 rivers of life. There's this river called the Niagara River. Now I grew up, like as Cheryl mentioned, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I live in Buffalo, New York. And I live very close to this river called the Niagara River. It's beautiful. I grew up having picnics with my family on the Niagara River. And it's beautiful. The water's moving and it's just really, really beautiful here in New York. However, it has a very bad ending to it. If you go down the Niagara River, you will land up over something called the Niagara Falls and you will die. And that is what most people do in life. They're on the Niagara River and they go over Niagara Falls and they're dead. They thought it was great. They thought, oh, this is wonderful, but they're dead. That's what's happening to 95% of the population. Now, the other 5% have found this other river called the Mississippi. Now, the Mississippi is just as beautiful as the Niagara River. The difference between the two rivers is that the Mississippi River has a very different ending to it. It goes into the Gulf of Mexico, which, if you haven't been there, is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So it's very different endings that matter in life. And you just got to really watch what road you're going down, and you want to influence people to get off the Niagara River and onto this beautiful thing called longevity, which is the Mississippi River, which has a very nice ending to it. And so it's just very, very important. Spend your life influencing people to get on this Mississippi River. And these 3 books will help you do that. So please go buy those 3 books, read them, dive into them, and we'll be going over them more and more here during this leadership development course that Cheryl and I put together. So to end this call, what I want you to do is score yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on this law of influence. Where do you rate? Where is your influence overall at here in longevity? You know, a lot of you are going to say, well, Paul, I'm not very influential. And really, you got to look behind you. As Cheryl mentioned, she made that quote about, you know, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is just taking a walk. Now, that might be you. You may be just taking a walk here. You look behind you. If no one's following you, then you're not really a leader. You know, but, you know, and that's okay. You know, you can score yourself as, Paul, I'm a 3, I'm a 2. You know, I'm poor. I don't have much influence at all. And that's fine. That's where you're starting at. And we're going to help you become more of a person of influence throughout this leadership development course. But we got to find out, where are you now? Okay, where is your influence at now? Maybe you're like, well, I'm pretty average. You know, I've made it to 1 star, and I got my volume is decent. I got some people following me. I got these 3 legs going. You know, if you've made it to 2 star and you got 3 1-star legs, you've proven, you know, and not just make it, but maintained it, you know, and have that going on right now as you're paid as a 2 star. You know, I would definitely say you're at least an average, 6 above average leader, because you've proven that you can get people to follow you. That is what you're influencing people to do, is to follow you, to do what you are doing. And then as you go up in the ranks, you know, and obviously, you know, at 5 star, you've got 9 different legs. You got a lot of people following you. You've proven that not only can you create a 1-star leg, but you've created 9 of them. So you're up now into the, you know, good, great, excellent kind of range, a 7, 8, or 9. You know, and it's hard to say if you're an ambassador here at Longevity. You know, it's pretty much you're at a perfect kind of influential level. You've influenced thousands upon thousands of people to follow you. And that's what we all want to strive to get to. So with that, I want to end the call here with that. Please score yourself on that. Read chapter 3. Well, read chapter 2 if you haven't done so already, in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That's the law of influence. And then go ahead and read chapter 3 in that book, the 21 Laws of Leadership, so you can get ready for next week's class. So have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week on Star School at our leadership development course as we go over leadership law number 3. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.